Stella was born 3 pounds, 15 ounces, 8 weeks early, and she was addicted to fentanyl. And that's initially how I found out that Cheyenne was doing fentanyl. She was very bubbly, very talkative. She liked to play with scissors, even when she was told not to. She loved to sing and dance. She had a passion for SpongeBob, even in her 20s. SpongeBob was her thing. She was fun to hang out with. Her birth mom left when she was 6. I've been with her ever since. I've been with her dad for a really long time. A lot of trauma when, mom was around, or, when dad and I weren't right. And then a lot of mixed feelings about it when the world was right again, per se. Kids are resilient, but they never forget the things that they've been through. She was good at hiding it. She had mood disorder and ADHD. It's hard to regulate your moods, which in turn, I guess, is your emotions. From mad to sad to happy. You could be all three in 10 minutes, and it can be treated. Which, when it was treated, Cheyenne was great. She was great when it wasn't treated, but it was difficult for her. I know that she played around with weed while she was living at home. I had strict rules, so she was always home when she was supposed to be, never out late at night. Sometimes she would spend night with friends, but she left home right before she turned 18. And then I know she started with Percocets. There's people on her mom's side of the family, on her birth mother's side of the family, that she thrived to be around for some reason. So when she was old enough that she thought we couldn't do anything about it, that's where she wanted to be. So the first time, there was an argument or she got mad and she felt like she could walk out the door, that's where she went. Her real mom, she hasn't seen her in a very long time, so it's just the family of her birth mom. Her birth mom never came back. When she left home, I don't know how long it had been, but I know within the first 6 months, she was into opiates. She was honest about it. I only heard from her when she wanted snacks or drinks or, to go out for tacos. That was her thing. But she started losing weight a lot, and she got into a relationship and started secluding herself a lot, to where I wouldn't even hear from her. But I was always the one that heard from her, so that was alarming. The only time any of them had heard from her is if she wanted, $10 here, $20 there. And, all the friends are friends, so everybody knew, when Cheyenne was asking for money. And they would call me, and that was the time I wouldn't, I hadn't heard from her. So I knew it was something bigger than, just the pills, especially with the weight loss. But you gotta be able to catch her to talk to her about it. So that was a huge thing. I probably went 4 months without hearing from her when they called and told me that she had given birth to a little girl. I called my husband first, and then I started calling Cheyenne's grandma, or Cheyenne's number, and her step-grandma's number, because I knew she had been with her the night before, according to the person that called me and told me about the baby. She did answer. She did put my name on the list to come see the baby, so I picked her up and her boyfriend, and we went to the hospital. There's a little paper at the end of the baby's bed that explains what they're giving her and why, because she was in the NICU. That's actually where I saw the fentanyl. So then the more I looked it up that night, the more it made sense. Excluding herself, the weight loss, just the way she was even when I picked her up and took her to the hospital with me. I understood it a little more because it's something I'd never really heard of. I tried to make her go up there with me every day, but eventually she just ghosted me. I bought her a phone to be able to communicate with the hospital about the baby. They still didn't. Stella was 10 days old the last time she saw her parents. And Stella was 10 days old the last time I saw my daughter. She'll be 2 in April. After that, Cheyenne thought we were against her, that we were just trying to take her baby. At this point, Stella was still at the hospital. They were still trying to get her parents to interact with them or interact with her or even just communicate. In Cheyenne's mind, everybody was against her. That was her excuse to stay away. And then eventually the state took over while Stella was still in the hospital. They tried to reintegrate, we tried. She just wasn't having nothing to do with it. She just wanted to be in her world with her boyfriend. She had to have a surgery on a cyst from when she had the baby. And right after that, in my mind, it was when I could talk some sense to her. She'd been in the hospital, you know, hopefully sober and clean. And her response to me was, I'm not with him anymore. I'm different when I'm not with him. I only need my 2 Percocets a day, my 2 laced Percocets. And in her mind, at that point, she was taking Percocets that were laced. Even when I tried to tell her there's no such thing. It was February 17th, 2023. I got a phone call at work in the morning that Cheyenne passed away. It was somebody I hadn't talked to in years. At first I lost it. I still hear myself screaming in my office. And my husband works with me, so of course he was right there pretty quick. And within like what felt like forever was probably 5 minutes. I talked to myself in circles. I messaged everybody I knew that she had been around, who were also using something or another, I'm sure, before I stopped myself and decided to just call an officer that I knew myself, because I really hoped it wasn't true. Yes, he confirmed it, that she had passed away, and she was pronounced dead at 3:15 a.m. In the basement of somebody's house. I know that she had been drinking. I know that from the toxicology report. Cheyenne has type 1 diabetes, so drinking is not good for a diabetic, especially a diabetic that doesn't really manage their diabetes well. I know that she had 3 times the lethal limit of fentanyl in her system. I know that she was in that basement unresponsive for quite a while before 911 was called. So she was alone. That's really the facts that I know. I've heard other things and been told other things, but those are the facts I know. The detective had 8 pieces of evidence. 1 was her phone. The other 7 was some kind of paraphernalia or drug. They told me I could pick up her phone just recently, so it's almost been a year. He said that was all he had. And I said, by all means, if you need it for some kind of investigation, like, you know, keep it, you know, somebody did this, you know, somebody intentionally is giving people fentanyl, whether they're addicts or not. And he said, we downloaded everything we needed off of it. We'll put it with all our evidence, and we're, you know, our goal is to go after the big guy. And that was all the detective said. I didn't get the phone because I didn't want to go through that whirlwind of my own investigation again. It was the detective of Wyandotte County. I've talked a lot to my friend that works as an officer, just about things that they are doing, the machines with the Narcan, stuff like that. I've talked to him about things that I want to do, but never any details really about Cheyenne or what's going to happen or if anything's going to happen or, you know, if somebody gets arrested and down the line that's where the fentanyl came from, you know, at the end of the day. Nobody at that house that left her in the basement got in trouble or even questioned as far as I know. If so, I wasn't told that. I don't even know if the people that were in the house when the cops came were the actual people there when it happened, so. Our adoption finally finalized December 5th. So we have adopted her, so she'll be with us forever, I hope. She's smart, she's resilient. There's not a lot of research on babies born addicted to fentanyl because it's so new. So it's kind of like a touch and go. You know, something will happen or she'll hurt herself, but she won't cry very long. So it's like, then you question yourself, like, is it because she was born addicted to fentanyl? Like, you know, there's not a lot of research out there of long-term effects of being subjected to fentanyl the whole time that you were pregnant. So I think it's important for people to know that it doesn't matter how you grew up, what kind of life you came from, if you think your childhood was good or bad, or if you're still a child. Somebody cares. It's dangerous. Fentanyl's dangerous, and it's in everything. I don't care if it's somebody that's 50 or somebody that's 15. You know, if they get something out of Cheyenne's story, that's what matters to me. It feels good to talk about it because things weren't perfect for Cheyenne. She wasn't this perfect little teenager that did cheerleading. She struggled, she had issues. She had bad mental health issues when it wasn't treated. A lot of self-esteem issues. So it can happen to anybody. Sometimes it's an accident. Sometimes it's not considered an accident, but regardless, every time it's dangerous. So just hopefully somebody saves a life in Cheyenne's name. It obviously affects parents or grandparents or, you know, the people that sat at home and worried about you every night. But I'm real close to a lot of Cheyenne's friends that grew up in her house with her through high school. Some of them even work for me and they struggle. I have an in-memory page for Cheyenne, and seeing the memories that they post about her or the way they're still feeling, it's affected a lot of people. My son's about to be 16. He breaks down still till this day. So she was special to a lot of people, and a lot of people cared about her, and she didn't even realize it. She felt like she didn't matter. So